After confirming the final details of my staged death, I ended the call. In 2 days, I would vanish from their lives forever, just as they all wished. The faint scent of sandalwood drifted in from outside the door. Reflexively, I looked up. It was Jonathan Bennett, my so-called husband. He wrapped me in an embrace, his voice gentle.
Who were you talking to just now?
Nothing important, just something about the gallery,
I said with a smile, forcing my tone to sound as natural as possible. He lowered his head, planting a soft kiss in the crown of my hair.
You've had so much on your plate lately. Tonight, I'll make something light for you. Something to settle your stomach.
4 or 5 years of marriage, Jonathan had been nothing but tender, indulgent to the point of spoiling me. Everyone said that once Jonathan fell in love, it was a devotion that would last a lifetime. I had believed that this was my happiness, but now, I finally understood, this marriage wasn't my happiness. It was his way of protecting Camille. Jonathan gently stroked my shoulder and suddenly said,
By the way, the Clarks are hosting a celebration tomorrow. They're announcing Camille's pregnancy and congratulating her on being selected for the International Art Exhibition. You don't need to go. I'll send a gift and come straight home to be with you.
I said.
I was thinking I'd attend the exhibition too.
He interrupted me, his tone warm yet resolute.
You shouldn't. Didn't you always say you wanted a child? This is the perfect time to stay home and rest.
Lowering my gaze, I hid the storm brewing within me. All these years, we had never had a child. I used to think it was fate, but now I realized he had never wanted one. The reason he didn't want me at the exhibition was likely the same as before. He didn't want me to be competition standing in Camille's way. He kissed my forehead gently, completely unaware of the depth of the void my heart had fallen into.
Your birthday is the day after tomorrow. I've already planned a surprise for you.
A surprise, huh? Okay.
I replied, my voice calm and collected.
I've planned something for my birthday too, so make sure to clear your schedule to be with me.
He smiled and nodded.
Of course, whatever my darling wants, I'll make it happen.
I looked up at him, managing to return his smile. Jonathan, you really went all out for the one you truly love. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I carefully shifted his arm from around me and slipped away. In the process, I knocked over his charm bracelet, the one he always carried with him. When I picked up Jonathan's charm bracelet, I noticed something unusual about the charms. Under the dim light, I examined them closely and finally saw that each charm was inscribed with a word, Camille. In that moment, I gave up on Jonathan entirely. The next morning, I said to Jonathan,
Let's go to the Clark family residence together.
His expression froze for a brief second before he regained his composure.
All right,
he said calmly.
But let's return right after we've delivered the gift.
I knew he didn't want me to go. He was afraid I might disrupt Camille's celebration. But I only wanted to see my family one last time. After all, tomorrow, I would begin preparing to leave. At the Clark family residence, the place was abuzz with guests celebrating Camille's pregnancy and her selection for the International Art Exhibition. In the crowd, Camille was the center of attention, surrounded by glowing admiration. Guests lavished her with praise, saying her painting submitted to the competition was certain to win a major award. When I walked in, Camille's face briefly darkened, but she quickly masked it with a poised smile.
Ah, Evelyn, my darling sister, you came too,
she said, her tone laced with mockery.
You've been so idle lately.
Ignoring her provocation, my gaze fell on the painting being displayed. It was a work so familiar it cut me like a knife. It was my painting, completed years ago and kept hidden as a treasured piece, never shown to anyone. How had my painting ended up here? How had it become her competition entry? Camille smiled faintly as she leaned closer, her voice soft but taunting.
Evelyn, do you like this painting so much?
I glared at her, just as I opened my mouth to respond. She suddenly let out a startled cry.
No.
Before I could react, her body tilted backward. She stumbled, clutching her stomach, her face contorting in pain. The room erupted into chaos. What happened? Camille is pregnant. How could you push her like that? Call a doctor, quickly. Amid the commotion, I heard a voice shout, filled with worry.
Camille.
Perhaps others wouldn't have recognized it, but I knew instantly. It was Jonathan's voice. The tenderness in his tone was unmistakable, shattering the last shred of hope I had been clinging to. Sensing my gaze, Jonathan quickly composed himself. Turning to me, his voice was calm but carried an undercurrent of reproach.
No matter what happened, Camille is pregnant now. You shouldn't have pushed her.
At that moment, news arrived that the painting had made it to the competition's finals, with a high likelihood of winning first prize. A glimmer of undisguised joy crossed his face, a look I hadn't seen even once in our 5 years of marriage. In a low voice, I asked him,
Why is Camille's painting identical to mine?
His body tensed briefly before he regained his usual composure.
It must be a coincidence,
he said lightly.
Perhaps her style is just similar to yours.
I laughed coldly and said nothing more. The painting had been locked away in my private gallery, with access limited to a handful of people. How the painting had ended up here, and who was behind it, was no mystery at all. This painting had been meant as a gift for our 5th wedding anniversary. But now, as I thought about it, even our marriage itself was a facade. The painting no longer had any meaning. I smiled faintly, my voice so calm it betrayed no emotion. Jonathan seemed to sense something off about me. His expression faltered briefly before he suggested,
Why don't we leave now? Find somewhere to relax for a bit.
I looked up at him, smiling faintly.
Let's take the yacht.
I suggested.
A night cruise. We can watch the sunrise tomorrow.
In the car, he started discussing plans for the next day.
I've already prepared a birthday surprise for you. Once things settle down, let's start planning for a child. How does that sound?
I stayed silent, gazing out the window as the city lights flickered by. I didn't respond. The car had just started moving when his phone rang. He answered it, his brows knitting together as he spoke, a note of hesitation in his voice. I turned to him, my tone calm.
If you've got something to handle, go ahead.
He hesitated.
Evelyn,
It's fine.
I cut him off gently.
I'll wait for you on the yacht.
I couldn't see the caller ID, but I didn't need to. Only one person could make him wear that expression.